Alright, guys. It's time for another of Dev's deck. And he's brought us a combo deck this time. And he's playing with my favorite card from Dominaria. Teshar, Ancestors Apostle. Now, I won't get into the lore too much, but Teshar is like the only remaining one of her kind or something like that. And she's on Dominaria, you know, being an apostle for her faith. So if you guys got any lore or anything on Teshar, if you know anything on Teshar, put it in the comments. I would love to hear more about Teshar so that I could maybe even know a little bit more about what I'm calling my favorite card in Dominaria. I hope you guys like today's show, and if you do, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like these. If you like seeing Dev's deck get run. I'm behind on 2 right now, but we've got one of those coming up later tonight. It'll be at 8 Central. So if you guys want to catch the blue-red Tetsuko, then we'll be running that later tonight. I believe Dev said this was his favorite card in Dominaria. So today we're going to be running both his favorite and mine. Both of the decks were built by Dev, so I hope you do enjoy them. And if you guys want to see the deck tech itself, there's a little eye right up here. It's got a circle around it. You click it, and that first link up there is going to take you over to Dev, and he'll do a deck tech for you. Now, I'm gonna do a quick run through of the combo, and you know what it takes for us to get this online. But if you want the full deck tech, by all means, click that little eye, go over to Dev, check him out. The links are in the description box below if you guys want to check out the deck list. And if you want to help support the channel, there's a number of ways you can do that. You can you know, give a donation right here in live chat with a message on it. I'll read your message out loud. And then if you want to support in other ways, you could sponsor the channel and get the emojis. You could support on Patreon. Just all kinds of different ways that, you know, to make it easier for you if you do want to support the channel. There's usually a way you can do it. Now, if you want to play these decks, now there's a way you could support the channel and save yourself some money. So if you sign up for manatraders, you'll be able to get and play all of these decks. This particular deck was only about 44 tickets or something like that. Very, very cheap deck. You could play all of Dev's budget decks so far with the smallest subscription from manatraders. And if you want to play, you know, more competitive decks, you might need the second subscription. And then if you want to get into modern and legacy and vintage, they have those as well. But if you do decide to sign up for manatraders so that you can rent these cards online or in paper, then use the link in the description box below and the coupon code. That's really important. It's going to save you 15% on your first 3 months, and depending on which package you get, that could end up being a huge savings. So let's talk about this Teshar combo here really quick. Now, let's read Teshar. Now, this is a 4-drop, 1 white and 3 colorless, flying 2/2. Yeah, that's really weak and dies to almost all pieces of removal. But when you cast a historic spell, you may return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. What? Wow. Wow, okay, so I cast any artifact, any legendary or saga, and I get any creature with 3 or less from the graveyard back? Well, that's going to be the big key here in this deck. You'll see that most of our creatures are under 3 converted mana cost. In fact, Teshar is the only thing that is not under 3 converted mana cost, and a Teshar cannot bring back a Teshar. So no things there, but there is that nice little trick where if you have a second copy of Teshar in your hand, you can go ahead and play that one. Even though you're going to legendary rule, you're still casting a historic spell, and before that ever resolves, you're going to be able to get your trigger there. So you can get the creature back from the graveyard, then choose which one of the Teshars you want to get rid of. We'll talk a little bit more about those intricate details as we get to playing it. Hopefully we'll get to see some of those. But Yahenni is a very important part of this combo. You need a sack outlet to make this deck work. And like I said, this is one of my favorite decks. So I've definitely been playing with Teshar. This is a quick glance at my version of Teshar. I actually went red, and again, I had to have a sack outlet. I wouldn't try to build the Teshar combo decks without a sack outlet. We recently seen Saffron Olive play a really interesting version of Teshar combo, and the one thing that he was missing was a sack outlet. And without a sack outlet, you have to have like 2 scrap trawlers and 2 walking ballistas and all this other stuff. But if you have a sack outlet, it eliminates all of that. So I was really happy to see that when Dev put his version of the deck into black-white, that he actually put Yahenni in the deck for a sack outlet, and that's really important. And now I also want you guys to understand that Dev built this on a budget list. Okay, if you wanted to increase the power of this deck, or maybe even stick a little bit more money in it, one of the things that I would probably do is trade Gleaming Bearer and Ornithopter for Mimics and Walking Ballistas. That alone will create a combo by itself. You'll cast the Mimic, you'll cast the Walking Ballista. It'll bring Mimic back from the graveyard. Then you can play the Ballista will hit and get a +1/1 counter on it, even though you cast it for 0. And then you can sack the Mimic to Yahenni, getting your Walking Ballista back from the graveyard, cast it again before it resolves, the Mimic comes back, shoot the opponent, sack it to Yahenni, or sack the Mimic to Yahenni, so on and so on. So if you have Walking Ballistas and you have Metallic Mimics, you can definitely throw those in there, and it'll definitely sweeten up the combo a little bit for you. But the one thing that you just can't take out is the Teshars or the Scrap Trawlers. Scrap Trawler is a very important part of these combos, because when you sacrifice a creature, or whenever another non-token artifact you control dies, and it is put into the graveyard, you'll be able to return one with lesser converted mana costs to the battlefield. To your hand, not to the battlefield. That would be so broken, right? That's Teshar. That's Teshar kind of broken. Okay. But yeah, Scrap Trawler is going to be able to go, okay, so I'm going to sacrifice my Gleaming Bearer. And the important part about Gleaming Bearer here is it's 2 converted mana costs. You're going to be able to sacrifice Gleaming Bearer, and then you'll get both the 1 mana from your treasure, but you'll get a trigger for a 1 or less converted mana cost artifact to put back in your hand. At that point, you can bring back a Sparring Construct, which means when you cast the Sparring Construct, you'll be able to then sack you'll get the Gleaming Bearer back from the graveyard because of Teshar. Then you can sack the Gleaming Bearer again, giving you, or sack the Construct first, and then sack the Gleaming Bearer again to get the Construct back, play the Construct again, and over and over and over. And because you don't have the Mimic here, Gleaming Bearer is a vital part of this combo, because you're going to need that extra treasure to cast these 1 converted mana cost spells. Now, if you don't have the treasure and you're trying to cast these 1 converted mana cost spells, then you could always just cast Ornithopter and do the loop that way if you have a Bantu's Monument out. You're still casting a creature spell, so you're still going to get that life drain. You're going to ping them for 1 and you're going to gain 1. So that's really decent. You can also build a Ornithopter to be really huge with a Sparring Construct, or even anything to be huge with Sparring Construct. The few games that I've gotten to play with Sparring Construct in my versions of the decks, it seemed that most of the time we wanted to grow Teshar beyond any type of burn. But this deck, normally once it goes off, you're never passing the turn. It's over. You will kill the opponent once the deck goes off. So We've got a couple other cards that are just easy to sacrifice, like Renegade Map. You're just going to be able to sacrifice it at will once it untaps. So that's another one of those triggers that you can have access to. Sarah Disciple. When you cast a historic spell, this is going to get +1/+1 until end of turn, and we plan on casting a ton of historic spells. So having the Disciple down before we decide to go off, this could be our lethal caster. Like, this could be what goes lethal for us, because we have the ability to cast 5, 10, 15, 20 infinite times. So that's the beauty of an infinite combo. We're going to be casting this over and over and over, and every time we cast it, we're going to get another trigger on our Disciple. So really, really cool interactions here. I'm excited to play this deck for you guys. Now, the one other card here that I really didn't cover as far as the creatures go is Foundry Chief Inspector. Now, he's important, but not overwhelmingly important. The thing about Foundry Chief Inspector, he's going to allow you to start going through that sparring construct for free. And that makes your 1-drop artifacts free to cast, and that is very, very good. So I do like the fact that Dev put a couple Foundry Chief Inspectors in his version of the deck. And the last card here in the main deck that just has to be talked about is Board the Weatherlight. Now, some of you might have played a little bit with the Weatherlight itself. It actually has this ability attached to it. Whenever it attacks a creature or attacks and does damage to a player, you'll actually trigger this ability. But for 2 mana, they actually put this ability onto a card, and you can just look at the top 5 cards of your library. Sorry. Don't need hiccups right now. We're trying to stream, not hiccups. Anyway, you'll look at the top 5 cards of your library and reveal a historic card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is a lot like Ancient Stirrings is in the KCI deck in Modern, which is my favorite Modern deck. I really love KCI, and I'm actually hoping that I can find a way to squeeze a Teshar or maybe 2 into that deck. However, that deck's just so tight that it seems a little bit difficult to do. I don't even know if that deck necessarily needs it because it's so powerful. I mean, you can just win on turn 3 in Modern. So KCI is a lot of fun, and this feels like KCI in Standard. So that's the main part of the deck, guys. We're going to look at the sideboard here. And the sideboard is 4 copies of Duress because, we really need to be able to protect our combo, or to be able to rip those cards out of their hand that could hurt our combo. We have 4 copies of Scrappy Scrounger. Now, this is just a really good construct, so when we want to go on that beatdown plan, we can put this in. Filigree Familiar. Now, this is a card that almost made my cut in my deck. And that's because when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, and when it dies, you draw a card. I personally ended up going for the White Implement, as it's 1 converted mana cost, and that's all I needed to be able to get my Walking Ballistas back. Now, Dev's not running the Walking Ballistas, so maybe he's trying to get back a Gleaming Bearer or something like that, and he might have needed 3 converted mana costs in this particular deck. So that is very relevant when you're building these type of Teshar Scrap Trawler decks, is the converted mana cost of each one of your artifacts. It's going to be really important to make sure that you have the proper converted mana cost to chain back down into your spells to restart the chain and go back down again. And hopefully as we get to playing, you guys will see what I mean by sacrificing going down the chain. So another card here that is absolutely phenomenal in this type of build, and that is Hope of Gyre-Pyr. I was a little bit mixed on Hope of Gyre-Pyr originally, and then I got to thinking, wait a minute, this is a card that can sacrifice itself. So I can play Hope of Gyre-Pyr for 1, get a trigger off my Angel, get back, say, Scrap Trawler. Then I can sacrifice Hope of Gyre-Pyr to get back an Ornithopter, cast the Ornithopter to get back a Yahini. And then from there, sacrifice anything I want to start getting stuff like that back. Now, there's also some other little interactions that you can do with Scrap Trawler that I do want to talk about. You can go to cast a spell and then use Yahini to sacrifice multiple creatures Wait a minute, you're not making mana. You can't do that. To make the mana. No, you can't do it to make the mana. Yeah, it's not a mana source, so... yeah, we need a mana source, and okay, so that's just KCI that can do that. Yeah, Yohini doesn't make mana, so you wouldn't be able to do that. Never mind. Moving on. Last card in the sideboard here is Battle at the Bridge. We've got a lot of artifacts, so Improvise is going to be really easy here. And that's Dev's deck, guys. I like Battle at the Bridge. It can give you a lot of life gain. It can deal with those really problematic cards. So this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get chat up, see who's here, and talk to everyone. Ambrose, what's up, man? I really didn't mean to like laugh at you or laugh at the deck. I was just saying that it was a lot of work to not get much of a payoff. And I don't think that you know, building an entire deck around being able to draw an extra card is competitive, and I think that's kind of one of my responsibilities by playing these decks, is to say, hey, look, you take this Friday Night Magic, it's not going to go well for you. But apparently you did understand that, you know, that it's not really a Friday Night Magic deck. It was one of those decks where we do something just to see if we can, and there's benefits to that too. So I'll apologize if I came off a little bit wrong there on the Garna deck, but either way, Hasbro, how's it going? You've wanted to see this in action for ages? Ages? Well, it's only been out like a month. Ages. Yeah, it's a cool deck. This is a budget version of it. Runs you about 45 bucks, something like that. Smallest package on manatraders can rent it. So, pretty cool deck. Brandon Hall, got a question. Anyone else having issues with loading Arena today? You got an update for the files, and now it's frozen on preparing assets. As far as I know, no. I think my wife was on earlier. Val was playing some Arena, and I don't think she was having any problems. So maybe you just need to uninstall, reinstall. It helps me a lot, uninstalling and reinstalling. So Team Counter, hey, I may have a list you might wanna try. You love to brew and make a bunch of lists, so if you wouldn't mind, hey, go over to the Reddit, Team Counter. There's a link in the description box below with the SideboardMTG Reddit, and it's open Reddit. You can just go post there, give some votes, give some love to some of the other decks you think you might want to see. So yeah, you were talking about the Tetsuko deck there, Bear. Well, the Tetsuko deck's power level's a little bit low, but if you get Tetsuko out, you can actually get in under your opponent and then pump up and be extremely powerful. So, we'll see how the Tetsuko deck goes. Let's see here. Wizards. Yeah, Rush loves Wizards. How you doing, Rush? Do you have a good birthday? Miss Pascal, how you doing? Greetings from Spain. Well, greetings from America here. I mean, how is it in Spain? Right? Like I got to go to Palma and Rota. Spain was a beautiful place. Like the food was just just little stands. You know, like we walked down the road. There was like a bar on every corner, and I don't know. I was in the Marine Corps, so we you know, that's all we were doing. We were 19 years old, walking down the streets in Spain, looking for the next bar. Go in, have a drink, move on to the next one. You know, it was a lot of fun. So, but I'm glad you're here, Miss Pascal. And then let's see, Mr. Ortiz and Dragon Lord and Jared B showed up early here for the Horde. What's up, man? Hey, look, a day stream. You're right. How was Val's Mother's Day? Sanguine, I guess. Just peaceful. We tried to give her just a calm day for her Mother's Day. So is Oathsworn vampire-like? Is this an Oathsworn vampire-like combo? Something like that. You're going to repeatedly cast the same thing over and over and over and trigger Bantu's Monument. That is the combo. So I think I got all the shout-outs. Let's jump into a game, right? We're gonna be playing 3 games today, and I'm actually going to be focusing more on showcasing the combo than showcasing the power of the deck in general. If all goes well, we'll get to do both. We'll get to showcase the combo in such a way that it is a powerful combo, and hopefully we can just kind of go from there. But that is the plan, guys. We're gonna see if we can show off Deb's combo deck here and do some cool things. Let's see what we've got. Well, we can turn 1 map, and we have our Teshar, and we've got a lot of other good things. I'm actually going to keep this 1 lander. This sounds horrible, but I'm going to do it. If we don't have to crack the map, then we won't, but, you know. Oh, you're taking her out? Well, I hope y'all have a good evening, bud, and we'll see you later. Okay, well, so we're gonna crack the first map here, and we'll just go ahead and get a black source. So we'll get a swamp, and then we'll play the swamp. We'll play Renegade Map and Sparring Construct. I don't really care if Sparring Construct dies here. Maybe there's an argument to actually play Ornithopter, but I'm hoping in the next 2 turns we actually draw a land. There's 1 land. So with the Scry on the stack, I'm going to go ahead and sack this. Alright, now I'll let the Scry happen. We're going to put this on the bottom. We already have our other land here, and we might have to get slightly aggressive just to force our opponent to try to do some things. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm not actually ready to go off yet. We don't really have anything, so I don't want to just run my Teshar out there for like no real value. So I'm going to play the Disciple, and we'll see if we can get a little action out of the opponent. We do need a Bantu's Monument and a Scrap Trawler before we can really start going off. But we do have our Cheerios here, and those will help a lot. Okay, yet another land. So we'll see if he decides to go kill any of our creatures or exile them or whatever. Is he just taking the damage? Okay. Well, then I am not interested in doing anything here. Glimmer. Alright. I mean, the opponent may not know this, but I am more than willing to just beat him to death with the 5 power that's currently on the battlefield. You know, I just had no reason for Mox Amber. Walking Ballista is the better 0-drop. If you go the Metallic Mimic route. If you don't go the Metallic Mimic route, then Walking Ballista may not be the better one, but I find it's pretty good. Let's just go ahead and play the land. See if we can get some action out of the opponent here. I mean, he's got 7 cards in hand. I mean, this will definitely cause some action from the opponent. What? Miss Pascal? Miss Pascal, thank you so much for sponsoring the stream, and hope you enjoy the emojis. You may or may not like the next one coming. The next one's going to be, I think we're like one sponsor away from getting it now, but the next one's actually going to be a screw with our logo on top of it, so that when we get flooded or mana screwed, that you guys can show that hype. But you got punch, you got golden nuts, you got everything. So so you might as well take down the boss. Well, you did. You definitely took down the boss. All new sponsors instantly take down the stream boss. So much love for you, Miss Pascal, and thanks for watching from Spain. And you got all these cool emojis. I'm sending some love your way there. Thank you very much. All right, let's get back to seeing if we can beat this blue-black deck here. I expect him to try to do something like James said, "I'll be back. Don't you worry." Well, that's up to you, good sir. All right. Oh, I got a little heathen at my door. His mom just got off work, so I figured we'd do this a little bit early. So, think we can go for it? Like, can we land this scrap trawler here? Or not scrap trawler, but think we can land Teshar? I mean, we're just going to take some Sarah Disciple triggers, but I expect him to just counter this. I mean, he's been holding up counter for forever, so let's see that Essence Scatter. Alright, so... Alright, well, I mean, if they stop Tishar, there's not a lot we can do, and then a Vraska's Contempt's gonna deal with that. We do need something like... We need a bunch. We need like Yahini, we need... This is not horrible. This is not horrible at all. I mean, this will help get us a couple extra points of drain in, and at this rate, we may actually be able to close the gap. So, I mean, I could always just cast, like, fire off these Ornithopters, but there's just no real reason for me. If he had a kill spell for the Sparring Construct, I kind of expected to see it there. Okay, so we'll see what he gets. He's gonna search the sunken ruins of Azcanta. The sunken ruins is actually just top 4 cards of your library, but Ooh, another Bantu's Monument. All right, well we'll see what happens here. Now, single targeting either of these guys without a way to exile is going to still result in him taking the same amount of damage. I kind of figured this would happen. I was kind of waiting on a Gear Hulk, especially now that he can hold up his Essence Scatter. Oh, wow, alright, so he's going to Vraska's Contempt 1. He'll eat the other. And I'll just pass. We do need something. I know he's got the counter in hand, so any important creature we have is just not going to fire. But we might be able to fight through Gear Hulk here. We'll try. We'll try. Just, we know he's firing off this Essence Scatter here again. There's no way that he doesn't. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll pass. we're running low on Teshars, so watching in the car, your old lady's gonna kill you, buddy. She's like, I put that thing down. Put it down. We're going to eat. Don't worry about Magic right now. That's my old lady. I'm sorry. Actually, Val loves Magic. She plays more Arena than I do. You think it's finished? You might be right. You may be right, but then again, maybe not. Maybe we'll find something something worth playing here. So I'm gonna cast a couple blockers. And this will help us deal a little bit more damage and will help us hold off. I wish the monument wasn't legendary, but it is. You may be right, Ambrose. We may just, without being able to resolve a Teshar, we may not be able to fight this. So, Mr. Bennett, how you doing? Just got here. How does the combo work? Well, the combo works with you have Teshar on the battlefield and a scrap trawler on the battlefield, and then you can just rotate through some lower converted mana cost cards like Ornithopter and Sparring Construct and things like that. And you need a Yahini down in order to be able to sacrifice these cards, but they start rotating through, and you're just casting an Ornithopter or a Sparring Construct over and over and over again, and every time you do, it triggers the Bantu's Monument. So that's kind of how this combo works. So you uninstall, defrag, downloaded a new version, still freezes on the preparing assets, super lame. Guess you'll try later tonight or submit a report. I would submit a report. I would definitely submit a report. Okay, so he had to abrade that. I'm gonna stop a little bit of damage here, buy myself a little bit more time. So we'll just try to throw another down. We'll see if he has a counter for it. He had a disallow. We will see if we can get past another scatter. Yup. That Yahini was our chance. She's not in the car yet. Awesome. Awesome. Am I live? Yeah, I'm live. Sorry, I was watching my own playback. Ooh. Another Yahini. Can you do it again, opponent? You got another Gear Hulk? I'm sure you got another Gear Hulk flashback into one of these Essence Scatters, right? If he's got another Gear Hulk, oh, just another disallow. Oh, control. They don't like to let us play with our decks. Control beats combo. Combo normally beats aggro. So, I mean, paper, rock, scissors. Mid-range fits in there somewhere. Like, it used to be a triangle. Now I think it's a square, right? Like, I think control beats combo. Combo beats aggro. Mid-range beats aggro. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I know we're going to die right here, though. So, dead on board. Let's move on to game 2. But originally, there were only 3 real archetypes. And then other kind of archetypes kind of fell in between those. Somewhere between, you know, aggro and control, you'd find the mid-range deck. Somewhere between, control and combo, you'd find like tempo decks. And tempos for suckers. Maybe it is. Alright, so we've got to pull a couple cards out of this, and that's mainly because we just, it was a 1-land hand, by the way, guys. Just saying, 1 land and a renegade map. We did do all of those things. I think in this deck we're gonna have a little bit of time, so the Foundry Chief Inspector is not. Honestly, I want to drop the combo. I'm dropping the combo. Tom, thank you for subscribing, sir. I'm gonna drop the combo, And I'm going to bring in the Duresses over the Ornithopter. And then Scrapheap Scrounger. I really want Scrappy. Hope of Gyre Pier is probably not that bad, but I'm supposed to be like just trying to combo off every game here, right? But I don't think we can do that against this deck. Let's drop a couple a Sparring Construct, a Gleaming Bear, and a Monument. What else can we drop? Teshar? The Disciple, maybe? I mean, the Flying First Strike is going to be actually really good. We'll get rid of the Disciple. And then we'll try to be a little bit more aggressive here with the Scrapheap Scroungers and have the Duresses to kind of pull things out of their hand. So, you think that Inspectors were the card to come out? You might be right. I definitely wanted to have some chance that because I'm taking my 0 converted mana cost card out, I wanted to leave some Inspectors in so that the few Sparring Constructs that I had left would actually still work as a 0 converted mana cost spell. So that was kind of my reasoning behind that. But looks like we're going to be playing a turn behind. But we've got lands and stuff, and we've got good spells. I think I'm willing to give it a shot. I mean, Duress is not going to get a Gearhulk or anything like that, but let's play the map. Let's get rid of this game chat. Search for Azcanta. Well, we don't really have ways to deal with that. Well, we've got to crack the map. We'll just get Swamp. Play the Swamp. Now, we could play Duress and then board the Weatherlight. I think I want to Duress now and just know what I'm working against. So what does he have? He has a Glimmer of Genius, Hour of Devastation, Magma Spray. I don't like the Magma Spray, but I don't like the Glimmer either. Hour of Devastation doesn't like overwhelmingly break my heart if I was going combo. It is a little backbreaking otherwise. I think the Magma Spray has to go. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get a chance to pull this Glimmer from his hand unless we top deck another Duress. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Magma Spray because that is one of the worst things that can happen to your Scrap Trawler or something like that, is them to just exile it. So you'd put in the deck the new 4-drop that lets you sack 2 creatures to reanimate another Whisper Blood Linguist. It can let you reanimate a Tishar and make you able to play for Yehinish. Okay. That actually sounds pretty good. I mean, being able to sacrifice creatures. Do you have to pay anything to sacrifice those creatures? Is it a free sack outlet? Like, that is the important part, is it free to sack? Venta's Fair. Let's just go for an Inspector here. And then next turn we can cast Foundry Chief Inspector for 2 and Scrap Trawler for 1. I mean, but he is coming up on the Hour of Devastation, so. Alright, so Hour of Devastation, they lose Indestructible. Let's board the Weatherlight and see what we find. There's a monument and a scrap trawler. Okay, I think I want the monument here. And we'll just try to get that down now. It still works as a historic spell, so we'll get the extra point of damage in. I assume that the lightning strike comes now, or he may just be holding off to save his mana for his glimmer. Like he'll just take the 5 points of damage and try to glimmer, get his other land, and then go from there. So he used the Canyon Slough. There's the glimmer. So he's got swamp for this land. And let's see if he fires off that Hour of Devastation. Nope, just gonna shoot one of my guys. Just a single shot. Well, we're gonna take a single shot at him and see what we can do here. He's got he's got the disallow, the censor. I think I'm taking the Hour of Devastation, and then we'll just try to play through everything else. I'll just play this. I'm okay with just getting my triggers and doing that damage. Oh wow, he's just gonna let it happen, huh? He didn't disallow it, or so the plan was just to kill. Okay. Cycle the censor. So there went the... We still haven't seen the swamp. We know the censor's gone, the harness lightning. He pitches another land. There's the swamp. So we know he has a disallow. Okay. I mean, we'll just go with the scrap trawler. I mean, we could get back a renegade map, but I think just passing turn here is going to be our better bet. So he does still have the disallow. Let's board the Weatherlight. Okay, if we board the Weatherlight, we can get scrap trawler. We'll just take another ping here. I mean, if he disallows the scrap trawler, that's fine. If he does decide that he wants to swing with the Scarab God, then... Alright, so he's going to take back the Foundry Chief Inspector. I mean, he can bring back 2 creatures a turn now, so he can get back the Sarah Disciple. So he's definitely going to be pushing some damage here. I mean, if he swings, though, I'm not 100% sure he's not just dead. I don't think he'll swing, though. He's been a very good control player, and, you know, the Scarab God doesn't always get into action. Wow, just held off, huh? Okay, well, that's going to be problematic for us. Sure, we'll play her. I mean, we're not going to be getting any triggers from the graveyard with, you know, the Scarab God and 8 untapped mana there. So that's going to be problematic. Okay, so there's the disallow. So now he can get back a Teshar. So yeah. So now he's got a flyer that he can swing with, and that's going to be problematic. That's going to be majorly problematic. Yeah, the Scarab God's just kind of running away with it here, and that's kind of what happens. I mean, they counter, play the Scarab God, bring back everything they countered, and they don't have to spend cards to make 4/4s, and that is very powerful. What could we go get that would save us? Well, I'm not going to add anything else to the battlefield right now, as I think we might be able to just kind of hold off for a minute and buy a little bit of time. So we're just going to pass turn, see if we can, you know, sacrifice our Inventor's Fair this turn and go get a specific card that might help us. Why didn't I play Yahenni to bait him? Because actually Yahenni's probably more important as a surprise finisher than trying to get our combo going with a Teshar. Teshar's not going to happen. You're not going to combo against the Scarab God with 8 open mana. It's just not going to happen. What Teshar does is you will go to cast, Teshar's trigger goes on the stack, you target the creature you want to bring back, he brings it back instead. It's just not going to happen. So at that point, Teshar was actually the weaker card. Yahenni having haste is more of a surprise than anything else. You'll play him, it'll trigger the Bantu's Monument. The Bantu's Monument will do 1 point of damage, then you can swing with Yahenni. So, like, if he ever decides that he wants to get sideways against us, then we have a couple answers, but not many. Oh, you got it. I mean, that's why. That's my reasoning anyway, is because I just don't think that you're going to be able to make Teshar work with an active the Scarab God on the battlefield. He's not swinging with the other flyer? Okay. Flying first strike. I really don't know what we could get with Inventor's Fair that would be just amazing, but we'll find out. So there goes our Inventor's Fair. And let's look at the deck. Let's see if we have something that would save us. He's got 4 cards in hand. Flip Search for Escanta. What could save us? So Scrap Trawler or Scrap Heap Scrounger is really good because it would be bringing things back from the graveyard. Non-creature artifacts seem really decent here because he can't bring those back, and we can still use them as triggers. Gleaming Bearer seems decent. I'm just going to take a Renegade map. That's how bad this is. I don't want to give him an extra creature. So we're going to go with the Renegade map. See if we can do a couple extra points of ping damage. we'll play the Renegade map. Let's play Yahini and see what happens here. I don't think we're gonna get that surprise factor. And this is only with creatures, so getting back things like Renegade Map or something like that's not going to be that great for us. And this won't sacrifice artifacts, so we can't sacrifice anything other than a creature. We still can't swing. Search for Azcanta Dix for him. Oh no. Well, I mean, the Scarab God's hard to fight. I mean, you gotta have a powerful deck to be able to fight, you know, against cards like the Scarab God, and we don't have any Vraska's Contempts. I don't believe there's a card in the deck that can answer the Scarab God. So, yeah, that's a thing. Need the dude that puts 1/1s when he dies. Well, he will be a 4/4 when the Scarab God brings him back. I mean, maybe you're right, Rich. Right, Silent Gravestone would help. Like, there's a lot of cards that could answer the Scarab God. You could even run Sorcerer's Apprentice. Sorcerer's Spyglass. You could run it. Wow, okay, now he's going to get back my Scrap Trawler. We get back Renegade Map, but now he's he gets to go for lethal here. Loop, sack. You can't. How would I loop and sack it? Like, the loop's not there. Like, the loop's not there, Rich. There's no loop to loop and sack. Like, you're missing Teshar. Like, yeah, this game, yeah, I'm with you. This game was over when he dropped the Scarab God and started pulling back my dudes. I mean, he's got more of my combo than I do. He did not swing, though. Brought back my Scrap Trawler. Plains. Let's sacrifice this. Maybe I should have sacked it in my upkeep to save me from that. So 8 in the air. We can block the 3 on the ground. Oh, that's right. It's free. Yeah, this is pretty much game. We've got one more card. Yeah. It wasn't what we needed. I mean, it would not have helped at all. It would have been an extra creature in the graveyard earlier and would have been back on his side. Then he makes one of his flyers a 5/5. If we can even kill it. I definitely like disagreeing that that's what we needed. I don't think that the combo ever had a chance. So you can't sack to Bantus. You can't sacrifice a creature to Bantus. I mean, you can sacrifice a creature to Yahini, but At the time we sacked that, we hadn't got the Henny down yet. And I was actually more worried about any creature that I would play just getting countered, but personally I think this combo goes off fairly slow. I mean, the setup requires turn 4 or 5 just to start setting up, so the board sweep. Char delay. Okay, well we're definitely dead now, guys. So yeah, that happened. Grixis, the Scarab God. Well, it was just mana and the Scarab God and some kill spells. That's what it was. So, all right, well we'll jump back into another one. Maybe we can get this combo to go off. We'll see what happens. It could happen. It could happen. I'm hoping we're not against control decks, so we actually can focus on trying to get the combo off. I would love to be able to make sure that worked for you guys. Bantu's Last Reckoning. We don't have Bantu's Last Reckoning. Like, those are not options. I'm playing someone else's deck. Those options were not available for us. You guys do know that, this is Dev's deck, like Dev from SBMTG. This is SideboardMTG. I get it, the initials are the same, but Dev builds these decks, I play them, so this deck needs a hidden stockpile. Maybe hidden stockpile would actually be really good. It looks decent, but we got double monuments. I don't think we can keep this one. We don't have the maps. This is most of what we're looking for here, guys. Another Board the Weatherlight is probably going to be perfect, so I'm going to leave that up top. Now, one of the cool things about Inventor's Fair in this deck is you can actually use Board the Weatherlight to go get a land if you hit an Inventor's Fair, because Inventor's Fair is a legendary, so it's a historical card. The historic Inventor's Fair. Deus Machina 82. Let's see if we can find some parts here. There's a scrap trawler. We'll take that. And pass the turn. I mean, we did get rid of 2 lands there. We did pass up 2 lands. Hopefully we'll draw some more. Land. Sparring Construct. That ain't horrible. I think I'm going to go with a Gleaming Bear. This way, if he at least has like a Fatal Push or something like that and wants to use it, we can get the extra treasure out of it. Riddle form. That's going to be hard to interact with, considering this deck doesn't interact. So, right, it can help us find a map as well. Well, it looks like we're definitely going for Board the Weatherlight again. We're going to need a map or an Inventor's Fair here. No map, no Inventor's Fair. Sparring Construct, maybe? I don't think we're looking for a second Teshar. Like, if we can get the 3rd land, play Boundary Inspector, then at that point we can kind of Sparring Construct, start doing work there. Okay, so he's going to be storming off here. And now he gets to hold up, counter mana and things like that, which I expect his counter to be something like Metallic Rebuke. So we got it. It just entered tapped. I'll just go ahead and play the second one. I mean, it's just maximizing usage of mana here. It wouldn't have mattered if next turn we just got down the Foundry Chief Inspector, but... The cool part about anything other than Teshar, if you do start going off, is you can have them counter the other spells if you're not worried about something like the Scarab God or them sacking the graveyard. So, what's up, Wall? How you doing? Well, if you got hype, man, make sure you hit that like button. You know, it helps out, and other people get to see what we got going on here when you hit that like button. So, come on, Dak. Come on, just give me a Yahini. I don't know if we could actually set everything up, but if we can run out enough things, like we're holding most of the combo right here. We just need a sack outlet and a Bantu's. So I think this deck's like missing a few combos. Like, one of the things that's really important about being able to set up any of these combos is KPS. What's up? One of the things that's important about setting up any of these combos is some of the time your other the Ornithopter is important. It's a 0 converted mana cost that we can cast the same turn we cast Tishar to go off. So I'm not worried about the damage. It being a combo deck, I'm willing to go down to my very last point of life. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm moving on. I'm not worried about saving damage. This card is way too important to just throw out there. It's just as good in your graveyard. This is not. This is better in your hand because you need to cast it for 0 mana the same turn that Teshar shows up. Like, so Teshar is going to hit the battlefield. It's going to be the pretty much the only safe time we're going to have to try to go off. And we're just not there yet. So I want to hold the Ornithopter. Like, the moment we go off, the game is over. So I don't think that saving that... See that punt? Did you guys see that punt? It was a big punt, wasn't it? It was a huge punt. Could have played the Foundry Chief Inspector and got it down for free. Oh, that was huge. Huge punt. Plus, now the Scrap Trawler is just as safe in the graveyard as it is anywhere else, because as soon as you get the Teshar down and play the Ornithopter, you can bring the Scrap Trawler back from the graveyard. So the Ornithopter is pretty much the only one that's not just as good in the graveyard, because it allows us to go off the turn that we play Teshar. Well, there's another land. I'm gonna go ahead and play Foundry Chief Inspector. We can hold off on sacrificing. We'll attack Tezzeret. So next turn we can play this for 2, sack, have 3. We need to top deck a Yahini. We need Yahini, and then we can go off. So that's what we're looking for. Come on, deck. Come on. Let's get this combo just one time. One time. Twilight Prophet, and he has got the blessing. At the beginning of his upkeep, he'll reveal the top card of his library. Each opponent will lose life equal to the converted mana cost, and he will gain that much life. So I was talking about earlier. The the reason that these decks need multiple combos. One of the smaller combos that, well, that's not a great card against us. One of the smaller combos that you can see in these decks is normally a draw combo that will allow you to just draw through, completely. No, Miss Pascal. There's you can brew anything you want. If you get the votes, it'll go. If you want to do modern, I haven't played a legacy or vintage deck yet, but we can. I mean, we have that ability. So you need to find out if your deck can play 21 lands without flooding. Wow, you're worried about flooding in 21 lands? I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. Well, we're definitely not a great deck for the scriptures to be doing things. So we're definitely not wanting to play Teshar this turn unless we know we can go off. So, well, the ideal situation when you're saying that Yahini or Tezzeret's minus is good against Yahini, we're okay with that. Yahini's safe in the graveyard. Scrap Trawler's safe in the graveyard. Like, all of these cards they're safe in the grave. So that is not a Yahini. I'm just going to swing at Tez. And we'll see what the opponent's got here. What is he consigning? I'm just gonna let Tezzeret take it. Okay. Alright, well, next turn is our chance. Like, if this is ever going to work, this is it. I'll go ahead and sacrifice this at end of turn. We'll kind of go for the gusto here. Thin the deck out as much as possible, and actually this deck does not. This deck, like, the only spot in my heart that this deck holds is Teshar. But overall, I think the deck's very, very slow, and I think that the deck could be built to be much faster, but it would require, like, quadrupling the budget that was used on this deck. So this was a budget build of the deck, and you got to give him props for even being able to put an infinite combo together in a budget build and keeping it under $50, because in my build, we blow through that budget and not even getting a full play set of one of the cards I want to run, and that's Walking Ballista. So yeah, I mean, to be able to come up with a version of the combo in a budget deck, that's pretty good. Well, it's just cool to hear that you're talking about actually testing your deck before sending it to me. So many actually, they got us there. Yep. Well, we're pretty much done for now. I mean, I can get the Ornithopter back, but now we have to top deck like a couple cards. And that's game. I mean, the Oblivion really, like, did us in. So, alright, well, maybe we can do it in game 2 here. I mean, he's swinging, flying for 10 damage. We're at 8. No point in resolving this stack. So, let's move on. So he's got a lot of artifacts, so I think Duress is going to be really good. He scooped it up. He doesn't want to play against our Teshar deck. I want to talk about something here just a little bit before I move on. So let's look at the curve. Let's look at just how fast, like what is, like from, and you guys may be able to find it a turn faster than I can find, but do I have a version? Do I have a link to mine? Do I have a link to mine? Let's see here. We can have. I can put a link. So we'll just save this as Teshar Builder. That's how easy it is, guys. manatraders is simple. Just jump over to the builder, import a deck, upload a file, and my Teshar deck. Upload should be 75 cards here. Save to my decks. Boros, Teshar. This is the link, and now it is saved in my. So if you look in the description box below, you're going to see a link for every deck that I've ever run here on manatraders, and it'll take you over to like my decks and stuff. So you'll be able to see all of the decks that I have ever run, and if you can go to that now, Boros Teshar will be there. So just check that out. So just go to the description box, go to the link below, and it's going to take you down to like all of my decks, and you'll see Boros Teshar there. But manatraders is awesome. Like, they've got some really good features, even for those that don't rent from them. I mean, it's still a good place to build your decks and store your deck list and things like that. So make you an account, and then maybe you decide to sign up one day. Who knows? But build you an account over there and start saving your decks and saving your work. It's kind of like Tapped Out, only you've got some other resources. So my version of the deck, you can go turn 1 anything you want here, right? Or play nothing at all. Turn 2, you just want to play like something like a Metallic Mimic. If it dies, that's fine. Turn 3, Scrap Trawler. Okay. Turn 4, Teshar. Play Walking Ballista. Play Walking Ballista for free. Shoot your Metallic Mimic if you want to. But the only thing that you're waiting for at that point is your sack outlet. So if you have multiple Walking Ballistas, you get to start doing this thing where you get to like shoot a Mimic, then like shoot them, then get back the Mimic and other things. We've also got loops in here where we can draw all the way through our deck by repeating that loop with the Foundry Chief Inspector out. So there's other options that we have there, and every time that we sacrifice this to our ATOG or our Ravenous Intruder, that it will draw a card for us, so we can loop through that and draw all the way down to get all of the pieces of our deck. Bomat Courier helps keep our hand full, and that is kind of the card I chose over Sparring Construct because I wasn't really worried about growing something. And then Hope of Gyre-Pier can sacrifice itself, so if you have a Hope of Gyre-Pier down, then at that point you can use that, like you can leave the Mimic on the battlefield, then you can sacrifice the Hope of Gyre-Pier to itself, bring back the Walking Ballista, cast the Walking Ballista, get the Hope of Gyre-Pier back, shoot them with the Walking Ballista, sacrifice the Hope of Gyre-Pier, get the Walking Ballista back. So Hope of Gyre-Pier will work if you don't have a Ravenous Intruder. I think one of the big cards that I'm wanting to put in here is something like Cathartic Reunion or something like that, just so that I can throw some stuff in the graveyard. But for the most part, my deck and Dev's decks are like very similar in construction and some of the things that he's got going on here. I personally thought the Gleaming Bear is great. You can go with infinite mana using this loop. But in my main deck, I thought it was more important to have the infinite draw in my deck. I would rather be able to draw down through my deck to get to my pieces, and like this deck can go off as early as turn 5. And then as far as Dev's deck goes, I don't know if it can actually go off by turn 5, considering you've got three drops that you have to have on the battlefield to make it work. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to be in red, is because it moved my sack outlet from a 3-drop down to a 2-drop. I didn't have to have Bantu's Monument because my 0 converted mana cost spell will actually do the damage. It is the key piece to the kill. And then Gleaming Bear, I didn't need the infinite mana, so I actually went with the Metallic Mimic here. And I think that's the reason Dev didn't do that, is because all of those cards I just mentioned are extremely expensive. And like I said, he was keeping this on a budget. And for you even to have these options in a budget deck, that's pretty good. That's pretty nice. So like, that's the big difference between budget and non-budget, is you're going to be able to turn it up by about a turn, and the way the functionality of the deck itself is going to change a little bit. But overall, the decks are basically trying to do the same thing. So I have played a version of my Teshar combo deck. I played it a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, something like that. We have Teshar, we have Ornithopter, we've got Board the Weatherlight to look for Scrap Trawler, we've got 3 lands. You know, I'm going to roll with it. Navigator's Compass, man, these storm decks. But yeah, I've got to give Dev some major props. So it needs Pirate's Pillage. Actually, Pirate's Pillage almost made the cut. If it wasn't for converted mana cost, it would so make the cut. And that's mainly because Pirate's Pillage is like, it's a discard. Like, you can throw. What's up, Dylan? How you doing? You can throw cards into the graveyard with Pirate's Pillage, but I think I'm actually wanting something on turn 2. So what I'm looking for is something like, here, we'll just play this. I'm looking for a Scrap Trawler right now, but what I was looking for is something that will help me throw cards in my graveyard. Let's go ahead and get our Yahini, and then we'll pass. Foundry Chief Inspector. Well, we can do that too, opponent. I don't know if we do that, but we can. And then we'll just play the Renegade map. The only rule is the deck has to be wild. Do I have a, Quill244, I actually hope that, ooh, he's got an Antiquities War. I actually hope that you do get a chance to put it together. If you do, go back and look at my my Teshar that I ran you know, a week or two ago, and you'll see how that version of the deck runs. You may end up liking this version. You may end up liking a version that has Gleaming Bearer in it, because I actually really liked Gleaming Bearer and creating infinite mana, especially when you can get the secondary combo online where you're drawing a bunch of cards and you're making infinite mana. But if you're playing online, I actually ended up taking those aspects of the deck out, because I wanted the entire combo to be, I am not going to have to make 40 mana and then cast a Walking Ballista for 20 to kill you. I wanted to be able to, man, we just, I'm not going to be able to like take the time to make 40 mana and then cast a Walking Ballista. What do we do here? Guess we're not swinging with Yahini. Probably shouldn't swing with Yahini anyway, but Yahini being in the graveyard would not have been an issue. The Antiquities War here is going to be an issue. And he revealed an Aetherflux Reservoir. Well, there's the reservoir. Scrap, trawler, scrap, trawler. Well, we need Bantus and Scrap Trawler, so we're a long way from having it. Ballista should be banned. It's just a really powerful card. Anytime they print something, you know, X converted mana cost, it's just a really powerful card. So, yeah, I mean, it may be borderline needing to be banned, but I don't really think so. I'm going to thin the deck. I don't want to draw any more lands. I want to draw less. We're a white source. I mean, I assume that he's holding up like Metallic Rebuke or something like that. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this. And now we're going to play Teshar and some other stuff to get some bodies back. So that mainly I just want to have multiple bodies on the battlefield to block some of these artifacts that are coming. We can't let him just swing for lethal on us here, so. Aetherflux Reservoir. Now he's going to cast the Implement. Tap the Navigator's Compass for white, sacrifice an Implement. And Glint Nest. Glint Nest may give him another 1-drop. Wow. Come on, opponent. He whiffed. Whiffed on the Glint Nest. Okay, well, we've definitely got to try to stay alive here. So we go to 5. So we'll block here, and we'll block here. It doesn't really matter. None of them have trample or anything like that, so we just go to 5, and then we'll play. Let's play Ornithopter. We'll get back our Foundry Chief Inspector. We'll play the Bearer. And get back another Ornithopter. And this will definitely help us hold in there for just a moment, but we are looking at like it being very dangerous. I mean, we can block the Glint Nest Crane all day with the Ornithopters, so hopefully we'll get to combo off here. Yeah, the Antiquities War, when it gets its third saga counter on it, or lore counter, sorry, not saga counter, lore counter. When it gets its third lore counter on it, it turns all artifact creatures that you control into 5/5, or it turns all artifacts into creatures with base power and toughness 5/5. So yeah, the third counter, exactly the third counter. The first two are really good too. I mean, you look at the top 5 cards of your library, and you can reveal an artifact from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. It's Tezzeret's old ability. Well, Antiquities War, a lot of people are actually trying to play that. Look at him. He's got Scrap Trawler too. Scrap Trawler, definitely one of my favorite pieces to come out of Kaladesh and Aether Revolt. Out of that block. It's just a terrific piece. I've got them in foil and paper, and like I said, you know, KCI is my favorite modern deck. So I was actually playing KCI ever since I seen Saffron Olive play it long before people were winning tournaments with it. But oh yeah, Antiquities War is definitely begging for somebody to play it. He's at 30. He's drawing cards. Okay, he's gaining more life, drawing more cards. I mean, we're fairly safe as far as him swinging in, but yeah, the amount of life he's gaining is definitely becoming problematic. Board the Weatherlight. We are a little bit closer. I'm just sacrificing something so that I get some value here. And that just gets our gleaming bearer back. And we now have a treasure, so a little bit of value. Now we just need Scrap Trawler. Yohanni's not putting in much work, is he? Not putting in much work. There's a crane. Whiff, whiff, whiff. Please whiff. Scrap Trawler off the top's what I want. We get a Scrap Trawler, we will get to do some really fun things. He's even running the Familiar. Wow. I'm pretty sure that if we do get a Scrap Trawler off the top, we can just win, though. I mean, it's going to be convoluted considering... Oh, man. We need a Scrap Trawler. Bad. Like, this is it. This is the last turn that we have. So, no Scrap Trawler here, and we're dead. Come on, Golden Nut. Let's have that nut draw. That ain't it. Well, that was fun, right? Just not getting there. Just because you're a moderator doesn't mean you get to curse in chat. We're dead. Dead. If he draws anything other than a land here, we're just dead. That's not a land. Alright. What do you got, opponent? Aetherflux Reservoir. There's no way we get one more turn. Land, opponent. Get a land. Right, it's family friendly. It's supposed to be, anyway. I mean, I need to punch a little bit of damage at him. Oh man, he's gonna get back implements. Okay, so I sacrificed that so that he wouldn't get back the implement. I know that I could bring back the Foundry Chief Inspector, so that wasn't an issue. I am going to start sacrificing, you know, these Renegade maps and putting a stop in my upkeep. Like, at this point, we have got to be, like, we've got to thin the deck as much as possible here, so. Glenn Crane. Depends on what he gets off of this. Any other spell, like if this doesn't whiff, we're dead. He's got 3 reducers, and so he can cast a 7 converted, like he could cast Godpharaoh's Gift for 4 mana right now. There it is. That's game. Good game, opponent. Good game. Okay, well, let's try the sideboard really quick. Yes, Seth, it is very, very slow. Let's try Hope of Garpir. And Duress. I would like to be able to pull those Antiquities Wars from him. We'll take out map. We'll take out 2 maps. An Ornithopter, Aspiring Construct. Just cutting down on some of the things a little bit. A Bearer, and can't cut down on any of the combo pieces, the actual combo pieces. So, we'll try this. Mainly I'm wanting the Duress. Filigree Familiar might fit, but yeah. And that's a mulligan. That's okay. This is okay. Yeah, we'll leave that on top. This way we have another piece of our combo. What do you say we just start doing it early? that life gain was like he was leveling up in a video game, right? Yeah, I mean, he was going up, up. We're probably taking Inventor's Fair over most things right now, but we have, man, Scrap Trawler would have been great right there. And we're just doing that chip damage, you know, like, this is about as good as it's going to get right here. I mean, we're just going to keep putting creatures down. We need a Scrap Trawler. We need to hit lands. We're needing draws. So, casting Soul Trap on a Skyrim. Oh, man, I miss Skyrim. Skyrim was so good. So good. I actually want that extra land on top. So we'll go ahead, play our monument. I mean, Navigator's Compass gains 3 life. I wanted to play this with Lich's Mastery, just because, like, I mean, it's not a great card as far as, you know, you tap it and now you're colorless, will make whatever, but yeah. Was I believe you mean is what? Well, I don't know what you mean for the Horde. There's his Scrap Trawler. How come he gets a Scrap Trawler every game? We never see Scrap Trawler. Okay, well, we can start doing things, I guess. I mean, the familiar here is going to be a little bit of a pain. Jorah's Familiar. So this thing flies ahead of the Weatherlight, right? You could say it was my pet project. Oh, come on, Jorah. Jorah's trying to be funny in flavor text, guys. There's a lot of people trying to play Artifacts. Artifacts is a it's a lot of fun. I mean, like, a lot of people like Affinity and being able to play and loop all of these things, and it's a historical set. So Artifacts is kind of exactly what I wanted to see out of this. I mean, a lot of people were talking about how many artifacts there were in Kaladesh and how much we were seeing there, but honestly, the biggest deck that I really remember there that was Artifact eccentric was the fact that people were trying to play mono blue Aether Flux Reservoir, and that's kind of what this deck is. It's almost mono blue Aether Flux Reservoir, but you know, we don't see that a lot anymore. Here we're seeing it again. It looks like there's been a couple cards come back that are exactly what we needed, and there's so many good artifacts right now that there's so many loops and chains and synergies that you can put together. Karn works with most of them, and everybody knows that Karn's one of the better cards that you can be playing right now. I mean, to the point where they're sticking him in all decks. We had this same problem with Walking Ballista for a little while, that you could just stick him in all decks. So now, the main reason I did that was because getting rid of a Scrap Trawler is very important. His deck runs a lot like mine, with the implements and drawing cards and things like that. Another familiar. Really was her pet project. She did it more than once. I think this is about as good of a time as we're gonna have here. I mean, we do have to stop damage. As long as they don't bring back Infect. I think a lot of people feel that way. That Infect was a very, very big pain. Like all of a sudden, like making people start at 10 life, and just giving the ability to just buff this up and pow, you're dead. That would, like, if I don't even know if I would like them bringing back something like that had an Infect style synergy to it. Like, I don't know if that would be good or bad. Well, he can get an implement back. Alright, well, let's move to blocks. We're gonna go here. Here. And then just stop 3 so that we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure. Scrap Trawler, where are you? Come on, Scrappy. Come on, buddy. That's all we need. We just need a Scrap Trawler. So we can cast this for 2. We'll get back the Foundry Chief Inspector. Play the Scrap Trawler. Just give me a Scrap Trawler. Still not a Scrap Trawler. Yeah, we'll get the Inspector. Don't think we survive through this one. Because now we actually have to, like, he's even getting extra Aetherflux reservoirs and we can't even find Scrap Trawler. Oh, it's so brutal. Karn wants to go New Phyrexian and eradicate them all. Who will get there first? Oh, man. I don't know. So Phyrexian mana was actually almost broken. Like it was one of those things, you know, like Phyrexian mana was huge. Okay, so if we do this, we take... Alright. Well, here we are. Almost at lethal. Should have done something there. Yeah, that's gonna... Show me the Scrap Trawler. Just show it to me. There it is. Hey, we do have it! That's all I want to do, is I just wanted to show it. I just want everybody to know. Just to know. It was there. Alright, well... I didn't win a single game. Not a single game. It is what it is. I mean, we just never hit our combo pieces, and this is probably... I'm not going to play my version. That would be rude. I'm playing a Dev's deck, so... it'd be rude to play my version, but I do think that, you know, if you made the slight changes to the deck somewhere along the lines of the ballistas and so you're going to need the ballistas, you're going to need mimics. I actually like this deck so much I own all these cards, guys. I didn't have to rent these. Like, I just have these. I keep these two decks on hand. I keep a Mardu Gearhulks, and right now I'm keeping a Teshar deck. So, like, challengers and things like that, I'll play them with these two decks. But, do I think that Teshar is like a Tier 1 deck, or Tier 1.5, even Tier 2? No. I think it's one of those that it'd be really fun to to go up to you know, Friday Night Magic, and you know, you might play 4 or 5 games and win 2 of them, maybe win 3 of them. So yeah, it's way too underpowered for leagues. Mainly because the fact that Teshar herself can just be like removed. You can magma spray her and it's over. So like the fact that the entire deck kind of hinges around, you know, a card that just dies to magma spray, I'm not going to call that a really competitive deck. There's just too many answers to it. You can even, you know, revolt a fatal push and you know, kill Teshar with a fatal push. I mean, there's just tons of answers that do not cost a lot of mana, and when you're answering their 4 mana spell for your 1 mana, then that's quite dangerous. I do think that the walking ballistas and metallic mimics and things are much more powerful than some of the lines that we were running earlier. Personally, Gleaming Bearer is a great card. You can go infinite mana with it, but I just don't think that it's the card that you're looking for, and Hope of Gyre is probably highly underrated because it can work as the sack outlet by itself. So if I pull, let's say, a couple of these sparring constructs out, we put in metallic mimics and we put in walking ballista, right? Like, we're just making that change. Oh wait, I can't run with 16 cards in the sideboard. I'm just going to make this one change, and I'm going to play a single match. Like, win or lose, I'm going to scoop before game 2 because I need to keep it under the 2-hour limit, and we got like 12 minutes left, so we're going to lose the beginning of this stream. So I'm going to try to get this out like quick. We'll see what we can do. Mulligan, sure. I mean, we still need Scrap Trawler. How far are we into the stream? We got about 12 minutes left on the stream, and see, we don't even need this for the combo to work now. No, I need land. Like, just putting in Walking Ballista and wow. Target player reveals his or her hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. That player discards that card. That's probably really good right now. Like, that's probably better than Harsh Scrutiny. What's the record for this deck so far? We haven't won a single game. Not a single game. That's fine. Yahini being in the grave is perfectly fine. Now if we can get to a Teshar and to a Mimic, it's game over. Gonti's Machinations. Come on, land. Where you at? I don't want to like kick up the top 5 cards of my library. I just want to grab the next card. So next turn I'll actually, you know, board the Weatherlight if we have to. Are we having fun though? Yeah. Trying to loop things, trying to get a combo online. That's always a lot of fun. We do need land. Now we just need land. Like, we have all the pieces to our combo. We don't need this. We don't need this. These 3 and the Yahini in our graveyard are the only things we need. Oh wait, we need a Metallic Mimic. Oh man, we're so close then. Nicholas Jacobson, thank you for subscribing, sir. Ooh, he's pumping the shade. We need land. Well, I'll take Metallic Mimic. Can we get land before we die? Is it possible? I mean, it's slim. We still need one more land after this. Alright, so we need... Metallic Mimic. We're going to say Construct. And unfortunately, I have to play it like this anyway, guys. Like, I don't want to play my 0 here, but we need to... Okay, he's going to cast down the Mimic. Alright, well, then Blowout. Alright, well, we're dead. That's game. So, it's just how it works. I mean, bam. We had the combo there, but got blown out. So, yeah, I mean, just 2 lands. That's it's a bad way to go. But the combo is much easier to put together when you're running off of Metallic Mimics, because the only thing you have to have is Teshar. You have to have a way to sacrifice, and then Scrap Trawler, your Ballista, and I mean, it's a 5-card combo, guys. I mean, it's not that that easy. Like, I mean, you're gonna have some problems trying to get it off. So I do think that, you know, like, this is the more upgraded version of this deck. Would it be to run the Mimics and the Walking Ballistas? But again, Dev built this on a budget. So, all right, that would be my upgrade suggestions for the deck anyway, because you don't need to go infinite mana. You don't need to do anything. You just play the Ballista. You get the free counter on it. You shoot them. And am I saying it's like without flaws or it's not full of holes? No. I mean, it's a 5-card combo. I mean, it's full of a bunch of holes. But it's a lot of fun, and if you can get it off, you can definitely impress the people at your local LGS. So I got to give Dev props for putting what he put together in such a budget. But yeah, winning with expensive cards is easy. Budget wins are the real challenge. You're right, Miss Pascal. You are right. Probably a deck that floods with 21 lands. You can bet the ramp is real. Well, okay, so Metallic Mimics are 3 to 6 euros. That's not bad. How much is Walking Ballista right now, guys? What are you guys getting on Walking Ballista and your... Like, I'm just curious. I mean, we got like 4 minutes to kill here before we end the stream, so you know, we can do some Q&A, just kind of talk to stream here. What do I got coming up after this? For those of you that don't know, that I didn't show earlier, at 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to be running Blue-Red Tetsuko. This is another of Dev's decks, another cheap deck that you know, is budget and gives you some ideas, and hopefully gets, you know, that brewing bone working for you. But yeah, I think I think that's euros, man. I think that they're in Europe, so I think that's euros. I mean, last time I was in Spain, they used euros. I think I still have some. I don't know, though. I heard the euro, like, no. What was it, the Greek dollar that collapsed or something? You probably know more about European money than me, but, yeah. As far as Walking Ballistas go, I'm showing that Walking Ballistas are... Where's it at? This can't be right. 4 walking ballistas for $33 on MTGO, but $22 on paper? Or is that per? I have to know. I have to know, guys. Holy cow. Walking ballista is $22 a piece? Wow. So that's like €17 for y'all? Something like that? Wow. Wow. I can't believe they're that expensive. Yeah. So, they got them for $280 here on, or $22.80 here on TCG Player. manatraders got them at $22.25. Hey, that means manatraders is cheaper. How about that? But look, online, 33 tickets. Wow. All right, guys, that's going to be the show for the day. I hope you all enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with the deck. I always love playing with combo decks and seeing if I can make the combo work, or if we can just get it to fire off. And yeah, we only played 3 games with it, and no, we never got it to fire off, even after upgrades, and never even got the deck to win a single game. At least after the upgrades, we almost got the combo off, but then we got you know, screwed on lands. But I definitely want to give a shout out to Miss Pascal, our newest sponsor here on YouTube. Stick around for the "You like pizza combos?" That's what Dev said. He liked pizza combos, right? Oh, that wasn't the right combo, right? Okay. I'm not going to repeat the whole skit he did, but anyway, Miss Pascal, thank you very much. The whole deck is less than 1 ballista, right? So €1 is $1.19, so 22. Okay, so only 19.50 then, yeah. So about no. Oh goodness, you're losing $2 there, minus about 19.50 there, and so anyway, I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to play. I like it. I do want to give some props out to, you know, to everyone that hung in there with me while we were trying to beat face with this combo deck. Maybe later tonight we can play the Tetsuko deck, and the Tetsuko deck is, where's it at? Here it is. This deck is also a budget deck. It only costs 56 tickets online, or 59 tickets for everything. And then tomorrow we've got another of Dev's deck, and I'm actually going to go back and play Dev's blue-black artifacts, and that's a $270 deck. There's going to be a lot more power in that one. And I'm also going to be playing Justin Clay's black-white Trials, and we're going to be playing Jareth Miles' blue-black Constructs. So we've got a lot of decks coming up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications. I'm going to be putting out multiple videos per day for the next couple days. There's so much going on right now, and we're finally in our office, and we can stream. So we're going to stream. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Give it that thumbs up. Sign up for manatraders. Use the coupon code. Save yourself some money. Oh man, what else? Get over to the Reddit, post your decks, vote on decks, all the other good stuff. YouTube spiel, support us on here on YouTube, over on Patreon. Guys, it's been great. We'll see you all later tonight. Karna's about the price of your modern decks. You keep it cheap, don't you, Miss Pascal? You do. You keep it cheap. Either way, guys, I'm Eric from SideboardMTG. We'll see you next time. Credits. Oh, credits. Roll that beautiful bean footage.